Not too many people know this, but there was a moment in time where we almost shut down Real. It was back in 2019, and we had about 800 agents back then, and we just didn't grow. Kind of flat on growth. We were not exciting for investors. We had about $50,000 left in the bank. That was following a couple of years that were pretty rough. I had to lay off almost everybody, and we were left with about 8 employees, almost no money in the bank. I had to go back to our investors and tell them that I'm not managing to raise money from external investors, and I need them to put their hands back in their pockets and give us a little bit more money so that we can operate. And that was not an easy conversation. So one of our investors, who was very close to me and he was there from the beginning, I had a conversation with him, and he said, Tamir, I think that maybe you should take a day or two and think about whether this is what you want to continue to do for the rest of your life, or maybe it's time to give up. And that moment shocked me because Real was my baby, and it was like somebody that I trust and appreciate coming to me and saying, hey, maybe you should give up on your baby. So I told him that I will sleep on it, and then the next morning I called him and I said, I'm not giving up. I don't know how I'm going to make it work, but I will make it work. That was in 2019, and then in 2020 we went public, and the rest is history. We're now trading at around $1 billion valuation. So obviously a lot of momentum and a lot of great things have happened since. But going back to that point in time in 2019, I think that is a good lesson, that you should never operate out of fear. You should be confident. You should believe in yourself. And I just eliminated the word fear from my life. That's my lesson.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Woo.
I didn't know that either.
Well, he said not too many people know it.
Yes. So Real almost was not real.
Real almost shut down.
Shut down. Gotcha. And there's been a lot of these companies that
I know
that had these $billion valuations that just kind of went away. You see these companies. They raised 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, and then it's all of a sudden, poof, they're gone.
It is funny how many of them don't make it too, right? Like this, you think money is, you just buy your way into the market share, and they haven't. Yeah. Like ones that definitely stick out to me that are super companies, obviously, that we all know is GoDaddy and Uber, right? Those stories right there that they literally, what's it? The GoDaddy guy, Parkins? I forget his name. But anyways, I remember he sold a company and basically started GoDaddy, but then he literally was down to his last dollars, went to Hawaii to clear his mind, and he came back and he got super intentional, and here we are today.
Yeah, I think this is a great lesson for us in real estate, right? Because when you start in real estate, or when you're going in real estate and you hit tough times, it can feel like maybe I should do something different. And
maybe I should go get a job.
Yes, I remember that when Jason and I started, the first 6-9 months were really rough, and we were down to nothing and maxed out our credit cards. And finally we're like, all right, we surrender. We have to go get a job. So we went and applied for jobs at an airline as reservation clerks, and they didn't hire either of us, which was hilarious. And so
thank God.
So we doubled down. But I can remember going into our broker's office, and I was just crying. And I'm like, I'm doing all the things. We were holding open houses. We were farming. We were doing an expired system. We were doing all of the things, and we were very intentional. As you know, right? We showed up and we worked, and nothing was hitting. And she's like, you know what? She goes, take off the rest of the day, go to a movie, enjoy. She goes, it's gonna happen. It's happening. It's happening. And literally it was maybe a month later, everything hit. We ended up the next 12 months. This was back in 2003, you guys. So when I say this number, it was really big. We made $560,000 in 12 months.
Smashed it.
In 2003. I don't even know what the equivalent of that is in today's
at least
money.
Double, right?
Yeah. We went on to just have an incredible career, and it was because we were sowing the seeds, and we hadn't reaped the reward yet. We were still in that watering and harvesting phase. But anyway, that spoke to me.
Yeah, really, really deep. Yeah, it is funny, right? Like how sometimes it's just there's another book, Sharon Lechner, 3 Feet from Gold. Right. That's just sometimes it's, again, that's the whole premise of that book is you're digging. And then you stop because, hey, you're not getting the gold. You're prospecting. All of a sudden it's only 3 feet away. Right. Which again, there was stories around her whole bit on how that happened, and they ended up breaking through. Right. Because it was somebody else came in within 3 feet of where these prospectors left. They struck gold.
Wow.
There are these people that
it was $1 billion.
The people that sit at the casino and watch people put a bunch of money into a machine for hours and hours and hours, and then they finally get up and go, and then they go back and they hit the jackpot. Yes. There are actually people like that.
I just think
your point to me is just simple to finish what I was saying is when you're intentional and like, you know, your actions are going to push through, like at the end of the day, having deliberate conversations with buyers and sellers, the reality of it is we just talked about this yesterday on the podcast while you guys are gone, is in a soft year, 4% of the people are going to sell. In a great year, 6% of the people are going to sell. We think that that's pretty massive. Yes, that's a 30% difference, which is substantial. But when you really look at it in the totality of just 100 homeowners, right? And you start putting your systems and your processes in place on that and just surrendering to the numbers. But again, I know that's not overly attractive, but it works.
Well, so if you're in a spot in your career and you're like, why isn't this happening? Or why isn't it happening in the capacity I want it to be happening? You have to make sure you're showing up and you're doing the work. Like that's number one. But I think that there's also like this belief, I think that the belief causes it to happen. And when you really think that it can, it will.
Yep.
And so I love that, his advice was believe in yourself, don't give up, and then don't operate out of fear.
That was a big one. Don't operate on fear. Just trust the process, push through.
Have faith, don't give up.
Well, there you have it. Take our advice and just cling to it because good things are happening. Thanks for tuning in.